Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the FleshEater Courts Start Collecting box and look at how we can use this particular box set to start an army for them in the current edition and season in Andtor. Now, we're going to go through the contents of this box set, talk about all the different unit options we have inside of it, what all the models can be built as, before having a look at some other units we can use to expand upon the initial box set. We'll then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1,000 points for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own army in Andtor to get you started in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And so, to begin with, first of all, this box set contains a bunch of kits that provide you with multiple different dual kit and character options within it. The first of these is a dual kit between the Royal Terrorgeist and the Royal Zombie Dragon. Now, both these variations can be the unmounted monsters, but they can also have the Abhorrent Ghoul King mounted on top of them, or you can have the Abhorrent Ghoul King mounted on foot as well if you do not choose to do so. And so, to start with, let's look at the Abhorrent Ghoul King. He is a 1 cast and 1 unbind wizard with 6 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1. His royal blood means he heals up to D3 wounds allocated to him each turn, and you're able to summon men-at-arms, which are summoning your surf units, which are your crypt ghouls and stuff like that, with his command ability at the end of your movement phase. Now, you've also got Black Hunger, which is his spell. You can add one to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by a particular unit as well that you cast this on. Now, if you choose to mount the model on a Royal Terrorgeist, this will give him a really nasty mount underneath. It'll keep his nice wizard ability. He'll also obviously gain the Death Streak of the Royal Terrorgeist, which does some mortal wounds based on targeting bravery. And the Gaping Maw as well has the potential to just do a flat 6 mortal wounds if you ever roll a 6 to hit. The model does mortal wounds when it dies. Indeed, you can kill as well. And you can also choose to summon Royal Guard rather than summon your serfs, which allows you to add 3 of your knight type models to the table. Unholy Vitality is your spell with this model, and until your next hero phase, you can give a model the ability to ignore a wound or mortal wound on a 5+. Now, the other option is the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Zombie Dragon as well. This will have a 1 cast and 1 unbind like the other two. You've got Pestilential Breath instead, which is a nice little damaging ranged attack. This will do D6 damage at rend -3. You've got Royal Blood to do your healing. You can summon Courtiers, which is summoning more character models instead. So depending on what you sort of build this is, depends what you can summon to the table. And you've got Malefic Hunger, which allows you to reroll wound rolls for your melee weapons. Now, looking into the other two, they will have very much the same sort of abilities that your Royal Terrorgeist and Royal Zombie Dragon mounted versions will have if you choose to go the unmounted versions. They obviously will lose the Ghoul King, lose the heal, and lose the magic on top if you choose to make them in this version. Now, the Royal Terrorgeist itself, you're just going to get that nice Gaping Maw infested, but you also have Royal Menagerie as well, where in your hero phase, this model can allocate and heal up to D3 wounds when this is near 6 inch of a abhorrent model. The Royal Zombie Dragon, on the other hand, has its Pestilential Breath and won't heal itself though. Now, the next unit we have are 10 Crypt Ghouls. Crypt Ghouls are 1 wound each with a 6+ save, and you've got Boundless Ferocity, where if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by them is a 6, the attack will automatically wound, though if the unit is 20 or more models strong, it'll be a 5 or 6 that automatically wounds. Royal Approval means you can improve the rend characteristic of its melee weapons on the unit by 1 if it's whole within 9 inch of any Courtiers or 18 inch of any friendly abhorrents. Now, you can also build the Cryptghast Courtier from this box set as well, which is a Crypt Ghoul character you'll have access to. The Cryptghast Courtier, 4 wounds, a 5+ save. You've got Muster Serves, where in your hero phase you can roll 6 dice for each friendly Cryptghast Courtier on the battlefield, and for each 2+, you can return a slain model to a friendly Surf unit. Trophy Hunter, if any enemy models are slain by wounds inflicted by this model until the end of the phase in which attacks were made. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly serfs while they're wholly within 16 inch of this model. So you've got some cool ways you can use this model to potentially boost up your Crypt Ghouls around it. Now, we then have 3 Crypt Flayers and Crypt Horrors. These are a dual kit and they allow you to also build the Crypt Haunter and Crypt Infernal Courtiers as well. Crypt Flayers have the Fly ability with 4 wounds and a 5+ save. Their Death Scream is a nice 4 attacks at 4s and 3s, rend -2, damage 1. And you also get to add one for your Death Scream if you're ever targeting a unit with a bravery characteristic of 6 or less. Escort Courtier is really cool as well, as they can fly your little courtier units around the table, picking them up when they move around. Now, Crypt Horrors are the other unit option. They can improve their rend while they're nearby any friendly courtiers or abhorrents, and Noble Blood allows you to heal some wounds to them as well. Warrior Elite means if your modified wound roll for any attack made with a club and septic talons is a 6, the weapon has a damage characteristic of 3 rather than 2, which will be quite a nice little bit of damage. Now, the courtiers, obviously for both versions, are something you can build out of this kit as well. And so we're going to talk about the Crypt Haunter Courtier first. So the Crypt Haunter Courtier is the non-flying version of the Courtier, 6 wounds and a 4+ save. Noble Blood means it heals a wound each and every turn, and Chosen, the King, means you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by this model while it's within 18 inch of friendly abhorrents. Muster King's Chosen will allow you to roll 6 dice, and you can turn Crypt Horrors instead of Crypt Ghouls. The last one of these is, of course, the Crypt Infernal Courtier. You got 6 wounds and a 4+ save. Skewering Strike means you can do some mortal wounds, and Muster Royal Guard will allow you to bring back some of your Crypt Flayers. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. Now, looking at where to go next for the FleshEater Courts, we have the Abhorrent Archregent. This is probably the best Andtorian locus you have access to in the Force. 7 wounds, a 4+ save, and a 2 cast and 2 unbind wizard. In your hero phase, this model just heals a flat 3 wounds. You can summon Imperial Guard, which allows you to summon a wide variety of different units from 20 serfs, a courtier, or 3 knights. Ferocious Hunger is its spell, and you can actually add D3 attacks to any friendly model with it. You're also not too shabby in combat with 7 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 1 and damage 1. Now, the Varngulf Courtier is another interesting one. Yes, it is not an Andorian locus, but something like a Arcane Tome on it would turn it into one, which can make it a really interesting pick, I think. 8 wounds and a 5+ save. You've got a really decent attack profile with your Immense Claws giving you 4 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2, and Dagger-like Fangs providing another attack at 3s and 2s, rend 2, damage D3. Muster Royal Household will allow you to potentially roll a dice, and you can roll 6 dice. For each 2+, you can return 1 slain model to a serf unit within 10 inch of the Varngulf Courtier, and for each 5+, you can return 1 slain model to a friendly knight as well. Feed on Dark Magic means if a friendly abhorrent model is within 18 inch, you can just reroll your hits, and you also add 2 to the attached characteristic of this model's Immense Claws if it's within 3 inch of 10 or more enemy models when you pick something as a target for its attacks. Now, looking at the FleshEater Courts, we do have some really fun endless spells. The Cadaverous Barricade is 20 points, and this is a terrain feature that gets set up. Grasping Hands, if a model starts a move within 3 inch, you can halve the distance the model is making when it's moved, though death models are unaffected. Chalice of Usharan means you have the Soul Steal ability to potentially steal some wounds and heal up a bunch of models around it. And the Corpse Mare Stampede is a predatory endless spell with some nice mortal wound damage dealing potential. Now, the last one I want to talk about is the Royal Beast Flayers. These are a really interesting unit. They're the brand new Warcry warband for the FleshEater Courts. 1 wounds each and a 5+ save, though the Royal Flaymaster does have a wounds characteristic of 3, and each of the Offal Hounds will have a wounds characteristic of 2. Offal Hounds means while the unit includes them, you can add 2 inch to the move of the unit, and while it's within 18 inch of any enemy monsters that have wounds allocated to them. And Hunter's Instinct means enemy monsters within 3 inch cannot carry out monstrous rampages. In addition, reduce the damage characteristic of weapons used by enemy monsters while they're within 3 inch of this unit to a minimum of 1 by 1. And so here we have our sample armor list for the FleshEater Courts. Now we've gone with a Delusion rather than a Grand Court, and we've chosen the Feast Day. What this is going to allow us to do is once per turn we can use the Feeding Frenzy ability for free rather than paying a command point. Feeding Frenzy is a cool command that the FleshEater Courts have access to for a variety of different models in their force that allows them to effectively attack again. Now, we've got our grand strategy as Spellcasting Savant. This means if our general is an Andorian locus, we have to have them survive the battle, and our general is. And then we've got a Triumph of Inspired for +1 to wound, as we are 10 points under. Now we then have the Abhorrent Ghoul King as our first hero on foot, and this model has the spell Blood Fist, which allows us to deal some mortal wounds to the enemy and heal some other friends. We then have the Abhorrent Archregent, who is our general, and we've got the command trait Eye of the Blizzard, and this is going to allow us with him to potentially get some extra primal magic dice, and our spell Hoarfrost here allows us to get some extra rend, which can be really cool on a bunch of our units. We then have a Cryptghast Courtier who's going to have the Arcane Tome. This is just an extra character in here to give us an extra Andorian Locus for a nice little extra cost, but also he'll give some nice little buffs to the Crypt Ghouls we have, as we've got 2 units of 10 as our battle line. We then have a Royal Zombie Dragon as our Behemoth, and in our other units we've got a unit of 3 Crypt Horrors. Now lastly, we have the Andorian Acolytes as our battalion for the force, putting our 3 wizard heroes in it. This, once again, so long as 2 of them are on the battlefield and alive, will allow us to potentially get some extra primal magic dice. If you've got some ideas on how to start a FleshEater Courts force though, using this particular box set as the core, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fun little community, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description, and also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, either by Patreon or YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some merch from our Teespring store as well. All of those are linked down in the video's description, and a special thank you to our YouTube members and patrons. We'd like to give you all a shout out, so thank you to our YouTube members John Castle, Disco, James Tillman, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, Ariana Edwards, Broken Chef, the Johnny84, Lock Lorick, Ronya, Green Roots Gaming, and our patrons Wasarin, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Cure Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domia, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.